Incredible! This is
The Grove Podcast.
Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 133 of The Grove Podcast. Now, no wonder I'm confused. I've opened up the wrong show notes. Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 133 of The Grove Podcast. Now, I hope you're all doing very well and have just about recovered from Arsenal allowing not one, not two, not three, but six shots on target. And we didn't score from a set piece, and that's just plainly unacceptable. And Arteta and the boys need to take a good, long, hard look at themselves. And look, despite letting the fogging standards drop last night, we still managed to do away with Hertzler's Brighton, and that's always a beautiful thing. And it was quite comfortable in the end. And book a spot in the EFL Cup quarter-final against Crystal Palace in December, we think, and we'll get to that later. I think we're struggling to find the time to play, but anyway, looking back at that game and joining me today is Kuziva. How are you? And are you concerned by our defensive frailties and lack of set pieces in the last 90 minutes of football?
Hey guys, what's going on? I am concerned. I have not recovered from last night's very weird experience conceding so many shots on target. But yeah, besides that, I'm good. I'm good. The kids
good.
Just do.
Good. Yeah, it was a strange sensation. I think it was the first shot was like after 90 seconds. What is this strange occurrence happening at the Emirates? What is this tomfoolery? What are you doing to us? And it was like all a bit of a shock. But as I said, all's well that ends well. So as I said, we'll review the 2-0 win over Brighton with all the usual stuff. And then we'll also have our continuation of our new feature where we have your 3-word reviews from the socials and whatnot. And we may have a little laugh at Liverpool at some point, and then we'll finish off with the preview of Sunday's away game at Turf Moor against newly promoted Burnley. So before we do that, as always, a polite request, favour, if you can follow, subscribe, leave a nice 5-star rating, leave a comment on your podcast apps and all the socials. That would be greatly appreciated. It helps, that it gets this into the ears of the less fortunate. So unlike yourselves who are already here. So if you could do that, just a couple of seconds, it will go a long way. And we do notice it. I do notice it. So thank you if you've done it in the past, and appreciate it. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with this show.
Thank you.
Okay, and you've just been brought a lovely glass of white wine, so that's very good of you. I've got my green and mint tea here, and you've got a nice glass of what is the tipple?
It's actually champagne.
Champagne! Wow, what are we celebrating the 2-0 win?
That's what we're doing. We're celebrating a 2-0, and that's what we're doing.
Wow, how you live, how the other half lives. Anyway, very good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased for you. Enjoy it. And anyway, so Palace. So what was your highlight and low light from the game yesterday?
Highlight
not
was
Palace, Brighton.
Brighton, yes.
Yeah.
Highlight was seeing a heavily rotated squad, resting a lot of our players. I think it's good to know that we know we've got quality on the bench, and we see it on paper, but to see them play and win and without conceding, that was a great highlight, right? And then low light, it's just a bit of a cop out. It's the conceded. Sorry, I keep on saying that, and it's not. It's just the shots on target that we conceded.
It feels like we've conceded a goal, doesn't it? If Kepa's had to make a save, it feels like, oh my god, our world is falling in.
Yeah, but the defensive performance, especially in the first half, and we'll talk about it later, was not great. And arguably it's probably because of the rotated players and some players starting their very first games. But we'll chat about that later. And how about you? What are your highlights and lowlights?
So for me, my highlight was seeing Hertzler upset. I think he's a prick, and seeing him sad and frustrated, especially after a game they could and possibly should have won, it makes me very happy. And he seemed to be moaning at the ref at the end of the game for something. I don't know what about. I couldn't work out if there were any egregious decisions that didn't go his ways, but Yeah, and I'm happy Hertzler is a happy tabs. So the other highlight, and we're going to get an earlier one of the 3-word reviews, was that back heel, which is what Ian from this parish sent through, the one from Marino, which helped set up the opener. And I think at first I thought he was talking about one Dowman did in the first half. Okay, that was nice. And again, reflecting on Dowman, because in the ground I missed the Marino back heel, and it wasn't until I looked back at the goals, oh bloody hell, that is a beautiful back heel and perfectly executed. So yeah, the highlight retrospectively is from the game, that back heel, but also seeing Hertzler upset. That's always a good thing. And low light, it's a hard one to pick out, but not a hard one to pick out. It's one that stood out for me, but it's sort of, I know all the caveats, and we will get onto it about the rotated side and minutes, etc. But it was Norgaard's performance. I don't know. I just expected something more, something better. He just seemed quite off it, especially in the first half. He was giving the ball away, seemed hesitant, indecisive. And I thought someone with his experience and ability, you expect him to be the one to step up. You know, we've got a lot of youngsters in the team. Him to step up, be the controlling and calming influence, be a stable influence, and he seemed to be the opposite. And given he's likely to play Champions League next week against Prague, didn't fill me with a huge amount of confidence. But again, circumstances maybe dictate it. So maybe he's got this out of his system, and it's a good thing. So when we do call in him and surrounded by better players, he's not gonna do this. So
yeah.
So look, in terms of the lineup, it was Kepa, White, Mosquera, Hincapié, Lewis Skelly at the back, Marino, Nordgaard, and Ranieri in the middle, and Eze, Dowman, and Harriman-Anous up front. And so that was sort of 10 changes in personnel and 11 positional changes. Yeah, I mean, what did you feel when you saw that lineup? Were you expecting that much rotation?
I was surprised by Harriman-Anous. I saw the lineup quite late. I think it was probably 50 minutes after it was released, because I just got home from work. And yeah, that was a surprise call out. But everyone else, I 100% expected to start. So yeah, it's good to see that, you know, there are other youth players besides Dowman that are highly rated by our manager, and I think he did all right. You know, how about you? Was it expected?
Well, yeah, me and Ian, when we were talking in the preview pod, we were trying to sort of figure out. I thought we were rotating practically everyone, and we have the players to do it. We just couldn't find that 11th player, and I think partly because I'd forgotten this guy existed. Harriman-Anous, so we couldn't think of him. Also, I just didn't think there was a youth team player he'd bring in. So we were struggling for that final person. I did think Eze was going to start. The other thing that surprised me also was Dowman. So everyone else, apart from Dowman and Harriman-Anous, I was surprised about. And that was like, and the reason why I was surprised by Dowman, and I sort of mentioned this in the group chat and I mentioned it in the pod, is that I just thought for a 15-year-old to start a men's game, physically demanding, mentally demanding. Yeah. You know, you get to 30 minutes, and he did drop off towards the end of the second half. It was sort of you sort of noticed that is that it's fine coming on with 35, 40 minutes to go, and other players are tiring, and you sort of maybe fit in. But to start that game and then have to survive at least till half time, I was a bit surprised, but hey, what the hell do I know? Not a lot of the time, to be honest. But obviously the coaches and the medical staff know better, and they think, he's good to start. He can carry it. Maybe you expect a bit of drop off, but then other players will maybe take the burden. He's not in a position that it will impact you too much if you do drop off, playing like on the right wing. So maybe, hey, we'll take the risk. Let's see what happens. Let's suck it and see. And so he's the youngest player ever to start for Arsenal. Yeah. And Arteta said, on telling him the news, he just said he gave a tiny smile. For him, everything is natural. That's the secret. He doesn't make a big fuss about it. He just does what he does best, and that's to play football. So I think it was well worth the start. Hincapié also made his first start, and obviously Harriman-Anous makes his debut, and we had 15-year-olds, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, and 19-year-olds all starting. So a chance for other fringe players to get some minutes, shake off the rustiness, and good to see the rotation. So there we go. So it turned out all right, actually. And as you said about Harriman-Anous, I think how did you think he performed yesterday? Considering 17-year-olds leading the line, debut match.
You could see in the beginning he was, he's like a big experience, right? He's never done this before, and he doesn't have that confidence that maybe Dowman has or Waneri had when he came in the first time. But I think he grew into the game, and obviously, arguably, kind of assisted Saka's goal. So it's good to know that there is a striker who's in the wings who can actually learn from Gyökeres and our other forwards. So that was nice to see. And yeah, you are right about Dowman. 15-year-old starting. I mean, Brighton is it's not a small team, and they rotated, but they didn't rotate that much. But I was laughing when I don't know if you saw this in the stadium. I don't know where you're sitting exactly, but there was a time where he literally just touched Pascali. I think it's pronounced Pascali. And this guy is 27. And this guy fell holding his head like a child. And I was like, bro, if you actually realize that you're acting like this versus a 15-year-old, you'd be very embarrassed, because that's embarrassing. Like you don't do that when you get touched by a 15-year-old. So I think he held his own, but it was a tough game. Brighton is not a small team, and they're very talented players. But it's good to see these youngsters come through, and the 19 and the 18-year-old, they're not like these other youngsters. These guys
they're the elder statesmen when Harry and MLS of the team. I think the one thing, Dowman had flashes of brilliant. I mean, he's so fast, so direct, so quick, and taking on his man. It's brilliant to see. I feel like he could release the ball a bit quicker. I think he holds on to it a bit much. Give and go, pass inside, get the ball back. But again, what an amazing talent, and we've tied him down now to scholarship, which then leads into professional contract. So. That's a really, really good thing. You can just see the talents there. I just felt with him and with Harriman-Anous, we were a bit lightweight. We had no outlet. So you launch the ball up long to Havertz or Gyökeres, and even Saka. Saka, he will hold on to the ball. I think we just missed that a bit with them. So the ball came back a bit quicker than it would normally. Put us under pressure a bit normally, which then exposed us defensively. And when a few things were off, then it just all leads one thing to the other. So I think they did really well. I think what you could see in the stadium where I was, the runs Harriman-Anous was making were really good. He was making really clever runs, really intelligent runs. That the team weren't finding him, or they weren't looking for him, or they wouldn't realise it. But he was at least trying to stretch the defence, trying to make. And you saw the run he made for the second goal. That was a perfect example. He was doing that higher up the pitch in the first half. So I think it's it was pleasing to see, to have that as a EFL Cup option, because Gyökeres really needed the rest. He's been playing all the minutes all the time. So pleased with those two performances, considering their age and considering who was around them. So what were your thoughts on the game overall, and in terms of the performance? And obviously we're joking about conceding opportunities and whatever, but on a relatively more serious take on it, how did you feel about how we played, how the game went?
I guess the rotation is the reason why it was very nervy in the beginning. The fact that we have 4 players who've never played with each other, it's natural that there's going to be some issues. Brighton really could have won that game. It's a bit of a cheat code to have a goalkeeper like Kepa on the bench. So I'm glad that he stood up and he did what he needed to do. Also grateful that the Brighton players were also just shit. But I mean, we know the expected goals that Brighton had. I think it was in the first half was 1.53, and they were creating really good chances. And for a long time, we simply just didn't have the answers. They're pressing really well. They're creating a lot of overloads. shit, the number of times it was 2 versus 3 or 2 versus 4 was unnerving. And I don't know how it felt for you guys in the stadium. I know it's always different.
Well, the 2v1 was the worst one, where MLS was like, do I go? Do I stick?
Yeah,
Do I go?
exactly. Right?
And that was coming right towards us. And so
Yeah.
you're right. There were a lot of 2v3 or 3v2s or 2v1s and stuff. Yeah, we were giving the ball away in midfield. You're right. It was a bit anxious.
But I guess I would also expect a bit more from Mosquera, especially Hincapié. He's an experienced player, right? But he's also never started a game for Arsenal. I'm hoping that as we move into the next stage, and if these guys play again, they have a better hold on the game, because Mosquera's had a lot of chances this season because of injuries. And yeah, I'm hoping that they saw that and they said, shit, we need to step up, because they are good enough to not go through what we went through last night. And I guess it's not just him. It also goes back to Norgard. He's part of that problem, if I say that. And he also needs to step up. Like, I understand that these guys aren't playing a lot of games, but when you are experienced as that, and when you are in training and iron is sharpening iron, I expect the old guys to step up, right? So, yeah, beginning of first half, I'm nervy, and then second half, it seems like we settled and we figured out what we needed to do, and we did it.
Yeah, no, indeed. I mean, in terms of stats, you're saying that I think it's the first time that we've been beaten on XG since the first game of the season against Man United. So it was. We had 1.22 across the whole game to Brighton's 1.6. We had 16 shots to their 18. We had 5 on target to their 6. We had 2 big chances to their 3. We missed one of the big chances. They missed all 3 of theirs. And in terms of so Brighton I think had the better of the game. Most of that in the first half. I think for me, I mean, I went into this game to sort of looking forward to see a group of players that I haven't had the chance to see before, and it was relatively low stress situation. And it's hard to critique or analyze these sort of games, because what do you expect when you change 10 players and you have rusty fringe players and youth team players, and there's no partnerships? 15-year-old on a wing, an 18-year-old in midfield, a centre forward who's making his debut at 17, a 19-year-old in defence, and then then they're surrounded by players only playing their first game for Arsenal, starting, and then really only Marino, Eze, and Ben White, who are the experienced regular pros within the team. So, and it did look a bit men v boys at times with that, as I alluded to, in terms of the sort of stature, and Brighton, with Belieber and their centre backs, they're big units. Then you can be bullied off the ball, and I felt sometimes we got brushed off a bit easily, but I'm not going to be too harsh on them, because like, you drop any of these players into our fully formed 11 and they'll perform. Is it a rising tide lifts all boats, and players will be in the position you expect them to do, and the quality around you is better, and the accuracy of passing and so on. So not going to be too down on that, but the game was as I expected with this team. They're always going to be a bit disjointed, always going to be a bit iffy, but then also Brighton didn't come and play a low block, and look, there was space. Lo and behold, there's space, and they could see the team we had, so they're going to go for it. It's a cup game, so they're going to go for it. I think it was too much of a bit end-to-endy, too much exposure for Arteta's liking, but we then had to just ride that bit out, which we did in the first half, and then we sort of got into it and dominated in the second half, and it was great to see basically Hale End, and I include Saka in that, win it for us. So with all four of the Hale Enders involved in the 2 goals, with the goal and assist. So I think we couldn't do a lot better. And I think for those rusty players, I said, like Norgard, who was a bit iffy at times, and some other players, it's right, get out of your system now. We put you in against Slavia Prague next week with better players, and I think he'll perform, and so I'm not overly concerned. I think we just got the game we expected, and maybe it's just this is who we are at the moment, mate. That we're able to win under all circumstances. So yeah, and. It was a game of 2 halves. As I said, Brighton with a better, more assured team, pressed high, emboldened to attack, they could see we were struggling to get the ball out, and yeah, they had plenty of opportunity to score and fluff the lines. I think they had a couple of one-on-ones through in on, and you're right. Kepa is a cheat code. It's great. It's great to have him as a backup keeper. So yeah. I mean, there was who was it? Ruta had a chance on through on goal, and then Zimas had a chance on goal, and there was Van Hecker also at the far post from the corner. So yeah, you have your chances. You don't take your chances, Arsenal will punish you. So I'm assuming like half time you were thinking, phew, we need to do. Yeah, I think we can improve in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's, I think, what we all felt. But what's also great, going back to the point you just made now, is it's not. I think we can improve that. We are going to improve because that's where we are right now. And that's exactly what we did when we got into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta seems to be having very good halftime tea talks. We wish we didn't need it all the time, but it's definitely something that is in his locker. And we go from like a 0.22 expected xG in the first half to only to a 1 expected goal in the second half. But it was an improvement. And like first half, I said we had 3 shots and then we got out to 13, and 5 of those on target. So we did start to dominate. Did you want him to bring on the cavalry, or did you say, come on, let's have a word and let's see what we can do with this lot? Or were you thinking, no, we need to make changes?
Yeah, I was so happy that when we got into the second half, we didn't have Saka and Gyökeres waiting on the sidelines just to get in. I'm glad that he trusted the youth, and he said, okay, and not just the youth, he trusted our second team, and he said, guys, this is your opportunity. Do what you need to do. I don't know. What are you guys expecting in the stadium? Were you hoping that?
Again, everyone's fairly chilled. I think we knew we'd sort of like got away with one a little bit. We were a little bit too exposed. And you said, I think we always know. I think we can play better. I think we're used to that. I think. Maybe one change at halftime was expected. Again, I was messaging someone. I think maybe Dowman was going to be withdrawn at halftime just because of fatigue and stuff. But yeah, as I said, because he was flagging. But maybe 15 minutes and a bottle of Lucozade, and away you go. So So I was a little bit surprised, but also really really pleased. Trust in them. Let's see what they can do. Yeah, this is a training exercise +1 sort of thing, and there we go. And then look, straight from the off, Dowman trademark run and drive into the box, and this was right in front of me, and it was sort of like, again, did so well to get past the player, driving in. Again, one of those ones where you think he could have maybe, okay, now cross the ball. He goes to one player extra, and he goes down, and he's got a certain styling going down. Don't know, penalty or not penalty?
I only watched one replay because I think I went to grab, I don't know, I went to grab some crisps and I came back like, surely that's a pen. Then I gone to the group and I gone to Reddit and I'm like, surely that's a pen. I don't know, what did you guys, to me, it felt like a pen. Like it really did. But I mean, I know people are speaking about reputation, and he's a silky player, and silky players get challenged in the box. He's 15. How does he have a reputation already? Type of thing.
Because he's won 3 penalties in pre-season in exactly the same fashion. I know he won one against Leeds as well, didn't he? So and he's got a certain way of going down in it, and it's tough. I think if he's given it soft, but I haven't. Okay, put it like this: I've not seen enough to convince me. Yes, that's a definite pen. It's one of those ones. If he's given it, fine. If he doesn't give it, fine.
Fine. Exactly.
That sort of thing. Like the defender seemed to plant his foot, and Dowman, I think, maybe hit his foot against the planted player. So it's one of those ones. I mean, there was no VAR yesterday, so it wasn't down to that. I hope he's not, because he does fall over with his legs spreading, and certainly there's very, I don't know, is it Arjen Robben or another one of the Chelsea wingers that did Robben play for Chelsea? I can't remember. Anyway,
he did. And
what's the other guy? The one that went to Real Madrid and then didn't do very well.
Yeah.
forgotten his name.
Eden Hazard. Is it not Hazard? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Hazard. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, so but I don't know, I'm picking on Chelsea players, but yeah. Anyway, just so yeah. Yeah, I just hope I hope it's now he doesn't have to get like booted right up in the air to get a penalty, and anything slight touch, doesn't get it. But we'll see. Anyways, it's
Well,
early days.
if he does continue getting kicked like that, then learn how to fall better. You become Busquets in the art of falling really well. So obviously you don't want that, but like he's a talented, like really intelligent player, and if that's in his locker, then
let's see. But anyways, the main thing was the driving run-in. Again, defenders don't know what to do. They're panicking and stuff. So again, that would just create chaos and opportunities later on. So and then Kepa had to make a save in the 50th, and when Eri had a left-footed shot in the 55, and so it was bubbling up, and I think we were the better team. And then bang in the 57th minute, the deadly duo, MLS and when Eri combine for the goal, but it sort of started. I think we were playing the ball quite nicely, composed, keeping hold of the ball. Ball goes out to Eze to Merino with that wonderful back heel, splits the defense straight to MLS, crosses it, and first time shot with Waneri. And it was, to me, it was like reminiscent of the goal Waneri scored. Not a similar finish, but in terms of the positioning when he scored against PSV last year in the Champions League, when Waneri crossed it and not MLS crossed it and Waneri was there. So lovely a great little move, an open play goal, and it's goal number 10 for Ethan in his Arsenal's career. So it was lovely to see.
Great goal. I'm a big fan of Merino. I'm a big fan of just take these technical Spanish players. That's what you expect from a player like Merino. He took out 3 players in that phase. And what I love about MLS, he's still growing into it, but there are chances where he could hold it for a bit longer. But I think he makes a decision to release quicker than the average kid that age.
Mm-hmm.
And he did exactly that. And Noneri with his left foot, perfect. It was a great goal. And then obviously Merino and the celebration are just a lovely picture. And I'm sure
my boys. Here we go.
He's gonna hang that in his home. Does he have kids? If he has kids, it'll be next to his kids, because these are also his kids, it seems.
Yeah, he was like the father figure and stuff. I was maybe thinking, could the goalkeeper have gone better? But the more I look at it, actually it was just out of reach. So I think it was just beautifully placed, and the fact that he took it first time, I think,
Exactly.
it was great, to get down to it. So 1-0, and on the second half performance, I think deserving. And say if you don't take your chances, then you get punished. So and then 2 minutes later, Eze had a shot, and I could have sworn this was dropping in. It got deflected high and over the keeper. The goalkeeper seemed stranded, but went wide. And then in the 74th minute, Merino had a header scrambled off the line.
Great positioning, rather.
Yeah. And then game over in the 76th minute. Starboy, the original Hale Enders, not quite, but Starboy is there. Timber was on at this stage, Saka was on at this stage, and Timber just, thank you, Ben, for holding my place for a minute. I'm here now, and my word, what a barnstorming run down the inside right channel, and then to do that, and then to do the cutest and deftest of passes. Great run by Harriman-Anous. And he seemed to hesitate because I think he felt that the defender was going to get it, and the defender went for it, missed it. Mm-hmm. So maybe he got himself too close to the goalkeeper, but he still had the shot. And then Saka's in there to leave it to me and tuck it away, and past Steele, and look, that's game over.
Yeah, game over. I mean, it's insane. So Ben White had a good game. I know the last time I was on a pod, I spoke about, Ben, kind of need to do better. But he had a really good game yesterday. But then Timber came out, and I was like, Jesus, all the best, buddy. What a great run by Timber. And then, it's just, I love when a young striker can anticipate the way he did, even though obviously there was like a try challenge. And because we have so many attackers always in and around the box, I think in the Premier League, we have about 20% more touches in the box than any other team.
Wow.
But because of that, there'll always be someone to clean up, and I'm glad that it was Saka. And I always love Saka stat padding. I like because it gives him confidence, or increases his confidence. So all around, great goal. Ben, I'm so sorry, buddy. Like,
Yeah, well, again, I like what you said. Was it what was the phrase you said? Iron on iron, sort of thing. So
I
So it just forces him to improve his game, and what another great option. And look, it is funny because I think Saka's been fantastic the last 2-3 games. Against Fulham, against Palace. How he's not gotten a goal or an assist, and then also against Atletico. He's been in great and doesn't get anything. And then yesterday he gets the ball fall to him, and he's just got almost an open net to shoot into. So I wouldn't call it stat padding. I'll call it stat equalizing. So for him and deserved. And I mean, again, him and Timber, what great little cameos. And you think you're Brighton and say, okay, yeah. Oh crumbs, we can go up a level by bringing on the subs, and they're a great little couple of cameos, nice little training session for them, and it was pretty much game over. And then Brighton really didn't have anything practically after the first goal, let alone the second. And then Trossard was unfortunate not to keep the run of ex-players scoring against their team, with Rice, and then it was Eze, and then Trossard, and he had a shot beating Steele, all ends up, but unfortunately didn't beat the post, and hit low drive, hit the post, and one of those things didn't happen, but wasn't really necessary. So game over. And joking aside again, we were saying about giving those shots, we still had another clean sheet, and it doesn't matter who we put out there. We just don't want to concede, or maybe it's just we're not going to concede. I don't know. See, the more we go without conceding, the more we go, oh God, we're going to concede.
Exactly.
It's like, how long can this last for? But but it's incredible. And so here's some stats. So October, played 6, won 6, lost none, 4-12 against 0. We did not let in a goal in October, and we've had 11 clean sheets in 14 games. So this is all adding to records. October this year is just the second time in our history we've played 6 games in a calendar month without conceding a single goal. Last time we did it was November 86. It's also the first time we've ever played 6+ games in a calendar month without winning them all without conceding a single goal. And obviously no other English team has done this. Do you think we're creating a bit of a defensive aura, and so therefore teams are already sort of mentally beaten before they've even started, just knowing how hard it is to score against us? And is this like one of these soft factors, a bit like City a few years back? Teams just go there and don't even go to the Etihad and didn't even bother. A bit like Emery, and when he put out the reserves in the league game, so what's the point? I'm going to save my players for another team. Do you think we're now getting this aura defensively?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, when teams prepare against us, they watch a lot of tape. They go through a lot of data, a lot of underlying stats, and imagine preparing for something like that, knowing how difficult it is. As much as you are preparing psychologically and subconsciously, you're going to say to yourself, Jesus Christ, like, what? How am I going to get through this? As you said, a totally different team, but we still did not concede. And the difference today, I mean, last night was it was a different team. We're a bit more open, and we speak about this. We score a lot of set pieces, but if you open up, we'll score goals, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. So there is definitely a defensive aura around our team, and I believe that because Chelsea had that, when they broke their record, you were just like, how the hell do you defend against this team? And we are there. So it's good to know that teams, or not to know, it's good to see that teams they're afraid of us. Like the way they set up it's because they're afraid of us. And if they don't set up like that, like you're stupid, you're going to get beaten 2-0 by, four teenagers. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm putting this as like it. I think there is that aura and stuff like that. And it's not like that size aura, in the tunnel, you've got these big stature guys. It's more than that. It's because it's not just the defense that defends. We defend from the front. Our whole team sweats blood to defend. It's the whole team is defending. It's not like, right, we've got the two best centre backs in pairing in the world and that's it. No, you've got that, and then you've got Raya behind them, and you've got Timber on one side who's like, who I don't think any players dribbled past him or got past him this season, and you can't really dribble past Calafiori because he's never there. So we got but then you got Rice and then Zubimendi who defends with class and subtlety and positioning and stuff. So that's not a size thing. And then Gyökeres doing the sort of the pressing. Martinelli doing the hard yards and Saka as well. So it's a whole team effort. Teams go into that. Yeah, they do all the analysis and then they go, I don't know. PGML, can you help us? So it's just a great thing there to have, and that's why I'm really pleased we didn't let in a goal, because you just, these little soft factors that just add up and get into the heads of other teams. I said 2-3 years ago, teams weren't bothering against City because they said, well, what's the point? Let's save ourselves for a team that we can play, and that would frustrate the hell out of us. So now we're building, I think, our own aura, and long may it continue.
Yeah. Also, sorry, Tabs, you mentioned the whole team, but you forgot to mention Win the dog. I think people like discount how important it is to have a dog that you see at training every day that you call Win. You're saying Win all the time. Psychologically, there are studies about this, and if I'm in the next podcast, I'll speak about Win and why we are winning. Let's not discount.
Well, apparently I didn't look too deep. Apparently Saka's now getting himself a dog, so he's going to be unstoppable. So we'll see. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Arteta and his psychological aspect of things, and it's just another 1% or 0.1% that just adds up. And apparently, I don't know if you knew this. Apparently, the way that they repeat the name of the goal scorer 3 times. Apparently, that was his idea as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Exactly. So I
can't wait to his book. I know Slot wrote a book after his first season winning, which is nuts because his second book is going to be great, and I know you won't. But I can't wait for Arteta's book because I don't know. I'm sure you watched a lot of some of his interviews when he's talking to peers in the sporting world. He's got this passion to learn and this drive to just increase by that 1%, because we all know the atomic habits. If you increase by 1% every day for a year, you are 33% better. And it's just for someone like me who enjoys that type of stuff and who's kind of brought that into my own life, it's just really a joy to watch. So I'm intrigued to hear about why we say the player's name 3 times after he scores. There has to be some sort of backing.
Well, I think what also is a bit like what you said the other day. He wants the whole crowd to play the game. So again, it's trying just little things, just trying to get the fans engaged and bring them into it and their importance and raise that sort of thing. Just again, not be like overtly, right, come on, you guys, you need to sing for the team, because there's always that, is it the team that raises the crowd or the crowd that raises the team? But whatever. But just little subtle things that just that will engage the fans a bit. So I actually quite enjoy all that. Those sort of soft factors and stuff, and we're both in the corporate world, and we've rolled our eyes a number of times. We've seen our bosses and whoever do this sort of thing, but then again, we're not highly tuned professionals who are 20 odd and who are ripe for this sort of thing. Me and you're a bit more long in the tooth and like but so whatever gets them going, and I think they're so on the sort of they're so at the edge. They just need that. Like the margins are so small that any little thing like that can make a difference. And look, it's always only short term, and then you've got to keep renewing it and keep renewing different things, because again, the same messaging or the same type of thing, then it falls on deaf ears. So it's just, and you've got to try things. You've got to see some things work, some things don't, and look, we get ridiculed for it. But hey, I'd rather be trying these things and it make a difference than be too embarrassed. And it's just a very different environment that a lot of people are not used to, and it's just the way of the world at the moment. So no, good luck to them, and let's let the aura continue. So on to the 3-word reviews. So I said I put out the call on Blue Sky, Threads, X, and all that jazz. So let me just find my browser with it all on, and thank you very much for submitting them. So people's 3-word reviews of Arsenal 2, Brighton Hove Albion 0. We had from Tiku Patel 65, winning is a habit. No, indeed, and that's part of that aura. Gordon Charlton, or aka Chubby Guna, kids' first games, and alluding to our youngsters. And then Gunnar KZ, bring them all. We're taking them all on for sure. Darius Oliagi, Dara 777, another clean sheet and 11 games unbeaten. I mean, that's just, it's nuts. Duper DK, another clean sheet. Groovy Cathers 2, Catherine D. The future's bright. The Eye of JA. I don't know what that is, but I'm not referring to. But open play goals. Yeah, it was nice to see the open play goals. And as I say, look, that's what happens when you open up. We're not relying on set pieces. And 1959 Arsenal. Jared Bork, I was there. Okay, well, good for you. So was I. The Johnny Man, John. Oh no, not the Johnny Man. The John Hyman. Our subs rule, and they do indeed. Mr. Murray J, Julian Murray, set peaceless goals. I like that one. The Retro Guna, Hale End Massive. They were indeed. And then Eric Helsing. Oh yeah, okay, yes, Disney Runner. No set pieces yet for sure. Robin Ken TSF did just enough, and I think we did more than just enough. I think maybe you're right, we got away in the first. Rocco Tuffarelio, no goals conceded, for sure. And Ice at Arsenal, Max Dowman, wow, and indeed it was wow from Max. So that was on Threads. On Blue Sky, Mr. C the Guna, clean sheet again. Jabberwocky was Hale End FC, it was, and and then on X, Ask Cannon Picks, Ian said that back heel. John Brown, Young Guns Fire, they did indeed. And Ulsterguna was squad comes through. And you're right. They're right. This is where we're showing the squad up. And then one final one on TikTok, if I can find my TikTok studio, it was no set pieces. Yeah, I think we're all happy about that. And then we had on the Grove WhatsApp group, Jamie of this parish was the kids are all right. Alex Monroe was nonplussed about the game. He says a football match, very descriptive. Thank you very much. Sasha, who was distracted by something that was going on BBC called Cat's a Traitor. Now, I'm hoping I'm not giving her any spoilers. I've got some clue what that means too, but I'm not a follower of traitors. So, that's his opinion. But he did say shots on target, which, all scared us. Noel Mickey D, Open Play FC. I keep saying Henry. Every time I see his name, because of Thierry Henry, I keep saying his name French. I think I'm just going to call him Henri for now. Thanks, Hale End. Nice one, I like that. Alistair was Hincapié is great. Direct rotation is key. Daljit, Boys to Men, I quite like that one. And finally for me, homegrown winners. So thank you very much for those. And on that, how did you think Hincapié played? So Alistair seemed to enjoy his performance, made his debut. How do you think he played yesterday?
Yeah, he's a talent, right? He was part of that unbeaten Leverkusen squad. I think the third centre back, and we know he's good. And I think he held his own. He was probably the most stable defender at the back out of the lot. It's so great to have a player of that caliber, supporting us as a rotational option, and he's good enough to push for a first team place. So I'm glad that he's back. He's not injured, and I was saying to one of my friends, he's got that Alexis Sánchez dog, like that drive in him, but as a defender. So if he has that, and he sees people like Calafiori, it's the iron, sharpening iron, where we're going to see players really step up. So I mean, yeah, just grateful that we have a player like that, and he did well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him at left back. I just thought he was solid, good positioning, seemed to sniff out nullified danger. So yeah, I like what I saw. So be interesting to see that come through. So look, that's the EFL Cup. We're through to the next round. Unlike the likes of Liverpool, who got knocked out 3-0 to Palace, and the Spuds got knocked out 2-0 to Newcastle. And look, I read out they played 6, won 6, drew 0, lost 0, 4-12 against 0 in October. Liverpool played 5, won 1, drew none, lost 4, 4-9 against 11, and they also lost 1-0 to Galatasaray on September the 30th. So that's their last 6 games, won 1 and lost 5, and a minus 3 goal difference. So are things falling apart at Liverpool? They've had a bit of a nightmare October. Now look, we've had bad autumns in the past, but I don't think that bad. And
No.
Yeah, and just before I give you the floor, Arne Slot said yesterday, I saw Manchester City starting 11. They didn't have one starter from the weekend, but it felt like their best team. This is a bit of an insight. Chelsea can bring on Esteval in, and then after I made 2 substitutions tonight, we had 6 teenagers. Well, then you shouldn't have spent 450 million on players that you didn't need. Are the cracks there? He's complaining about teams changing their lineup before they play them. Is he a fraud? Is he a fraud? Was he just a caretaker for Klopp's Liverpool last year?
Tabs, be nice to the guy. He's not wrong. City did have better players on the bench, and he didn't. And it's not Slot's fault that he had really shit players or young players on the bench. It's 100% not his fault. But so I've been tracking Liverpool for a long time. And they started going down last season, game week 20. I think it was around when Trent got injured. They won the league because they had Salah with a phenomenal season, and also because we had our injuries, and I don't want to make excuses, but
no, it's a reason.
They've been struggling for more than just the season, and it's now catching up. And a lot of people said it last season, and we saw the memes of, I forgot the guy's name from Breaking Bad. You can't let him get away with this. And they'll always have their
Walter White
minutes. Yes, yeah. And now they're not getting away with it. They're actually not getting away with it, and it's catching up. And it's the cracks have been there, but they've been plastered by a player playing for a contract, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is arguably one of the best passers of this generation. So, Slot is definitely the caretaker of Klopp's team, and I genuinely do not see him doing better. Like, he seems very stubborn with how he sets up his team, and I think this might be. I know it's crazy to say, but it's a really bad form. Like, this is really, really bad form.
Yeah. And I think they play Villa at the weekend. Okay, it's at home, but that doesn't seem to.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, look, and he's saying other stuff, and he's saying the quiet stuff out loud, and he's under pressure, and it's all good being nice and happy and complimenting others when you're winning. But this is the time you stand up and just the best bet is just to keep your mouth shut, just get on, go back to work. And but look, his defenders are aging out. He spent 200 million or plus on 2 players that are exactly the same, and so it'll be interesting to see how they get through this. And look, I don't doubt that they will, and they've got still good enough players to win games, and they'll cause an issue. But I don't know. This is it's out of the job by the end of the year. Let's see. All right. And I mean the end of the year 2025, not the end of the season. Let's see. So look, the draw, we got Crystal Palace at home, Cardiff City at home to Chelsea, Man City at home to Brentford, and Newcastle at home to Fulham. So a bit of a dull draw, to be honest. you wanted maybe City to face Newcastle or Chelsea to play City, or I wanted an away draw for the points. But there we go. And it's a quarter final against Palace like last year. But again, potentially another thing that's falling our way. So Palace, when the game's playing, they're playing the week or Tuesday the 16th, or the week where, Tuesday the 16th is when they're scheduled to take place. But Palace have City away on Sunday, then potentially us on the Tuesday, then Thursday they've got a Europa Conference game against KUPS Cups, and then on Sunday they play Leeds away. So we play Wolves on the Saturday before and Everton away on the Sunday. So Palace have 4 games in 8 days, and then we'll also likely have Kai and Odegaard and Madueke back. Now that doesn't mean they'll start that, but it means we're not having to again flog to death our primary players and play our second string, full second string, because I think it's Palace at home. You've got to respect that a bit more, and so on. So that's, again, it's one of these things. I think this is why I'm sort of getting quietly confident about this season. These little things are just happening to us. We're playing teams at the right time, at the right way, etc., etc. Injuries are maybe, if they're happening to us, they're not so impactful. So I'm not so. It just feels like something might be working here. But look, we play that game, and we obviously want to win it because we want to win every game. But what are your general thoughts on the EFL Cup? I mean, how do you feel about it as a trophy? Does it matter? Is it a necessary distraction? Is it worth it? Especially given playing Newcastle away in the 2-legged semi in January with all those games pretty much killed our season. What are your thoughts in general about the EFL Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I think for our team who've been so close to winning something, and also just looking at the head-to-head tables, looking at the number of wins that Arteta's had, I think winning any trophy is important for this group. You are tasting that victory, you are tasting that celebration. I wouldn't be mad if we didn't win it, but I would love for us to just get a payoff for the hard work that these guys have been doing. So I think in past seasons I wouldn't have cared, but Arteta's team and him, they've done so well, and I think, I don't necessarily deserve it because the team that won the season is the one that deserved it, and there's a bit of luck that plays in. But I want us to go all the way if we can. How about you?
Well, I've said many a times that I'm happy to win it, but not at the expense of the bigger picture, not at the expense of the bigger trophies. As I said last year, I don't think it was happening last year anyway, but it really put the kibosh. Like, again, we lost Saka to the Palace 5-1, and then we lose Havertz after I think not directly as a result of this Newcastle game. I can't remember, it may have been at this result, and then we had Martinelli out, and it was just too many games in too intense a period with too few players, and I think it scuppered us. So it's. I'm never going to turn. I don't want to turn up and see us lose.
Yeah.
It's just how upset I'd get. But if we get through this, then right, you might as well go for it. But it's just what knock-on effect will it have, and I don't want it to be at the expense of something bigger, something more important. So look, we'll see. We'll worry about that until December, but it's looking like we're going to be playing them at a good time, and there's no way 2 games a game every 2 days, and they're going to play their full squad. And they're not a big squad, so they got Europe, and they're trying to do well in the league. By December, they could be flagging as well. They're going to be potentially struggling as well. So it might just fall our way. So we'll see, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. So Burnley away, 3:00 kickoff on Saturday. So just keep an eye out for vans outside your outside your house as you find the stream, or not. You could be traditional and listen to it on the radio, or be in another country that is allowed to watch the 3:00 kickoffs. But for the rest of us, well, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Right. Anyway, so. What are you looking forward to and not looking forward to with regards to Burnley away, 3:00 Saturday, 1st of November?
I'm looking forward to beating Burnley thoroughly. I know we're playing away from home. I know they have quite a defensive side. They've conceded quite a few goals this season, But I was going to say besides Liverpool, but it's not besides Liverpool. When they played the big teams, they've been beaten directly. So City and Tottenham, inverted commas.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to that. Not looking forward to another cop out. A shot on target. I hope they don't have a shot on target. I want us to stretch this as long as possible. But seriously though, it's one of those games where I just don't want us to mess up, right? I don't think we will. I think what you spoke about earlier, this aura that we kind of have, this energy that around the club is real. I don't think we will, but this is football. Anything's possible.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Just another 3 points on our march to the title in March, April. So that's what I'm looking forward to it, and that's what should, dangerous word, but it should be. If we're serious about this and we want to sort of take advantage of our situation, then we should be going there and getting three points. Not looking forward to. As I said, it shouldn't be a banana skin, but you never know. Things are going quite serenely at the moment, I mean, bar the injury situation, but even then, we're managing that for now. Nothing dumb has really happened, or there has been some VAR stuff, but nothing that's changed the results of games, so things could have gone our way VAR-wise, but the penalty decisions haven't stopped us winning games against Fulham, against Newcastle. So I just want that to continue. So it's what will the footballing gods have in store for us? Everyone's waiting for us to fail, to slip up, to give us a good verbal kicking. So we just need to be professional, get in, get the job done, get out. I don't care how. I don't care. Again, we can stink the place out, win 1-0. Thank you very much. Go home. Mm-hmm. Playing pretty nice football is great. I still think we're bedding in players. We're still trying to figure out who we are. We haven't got our primary 11 out there. So our primary, where we do have solidity and continuation is in the defence, and look what that does in midfield and up front. It's a different story, and look at that. So let's go in and be professional. So what do you think the lineup? How do you think we're gonna line up for this game?
Besides the fact that Saliba was subbed at halftime in the last game, I don't think there'll be much of a difference from the last game lineup. We'll probably see Mosquera come in. But I doubt there'll be any big changes. But it would be nice to see maybe either Zubimendi or Rice sit out and I don't know, like an Ethan come in as a creative outlet, given the fact that we're playing a very structured low block. But I don't see any changes besides Saliba.
Yeah, for me, I think the lineup, Raya, Saliba, stroke Mosquera, Gabriel Calafiori, Eza, Zubimendi, Rice, Saka, Gyökeres, and I'd say Trossard over Martinelli. I think Martinelli, again, he's got the injury. It's a small pitch. It looks like a small pitch. I think it is a small pitch, and these closed ground. I mean, all pitches are roughly of a standard, but it's a bit like Palace or Fulham. The bigger stadiums with the bigger expansion seem to have bigger pitches and stuff. So based on no facts whatsoever, because it's a small pitch, we need a sort of a small space player, and that's more Trossard. And Trossard seems to be the one that gets the nod at the moment in the Premier League, but also the partnership with Calafiori and what Calafiori does versus Trossard, and then you got Nelly and Lewis Skelly. So I reckon that. And what will be the most pleasing is Gyökeres will be fresh. He's been running to the ground. He was looking quite leggy. Saka looks sharp. Against Brighton. Again, Rice rested. Zubimendi rested. Eze, I think I'm not an issue with. He was playing in second gear yesterday anyway. Gabriel come around for a bit of a fun run around. It feels like he's just bored, and he's like an excited child, and actually he's most really burning more energy on the bench than getting out there running off and so on. So I think it'll be as we expect, no surprises. But if Saliba's not fit, Mosquera comes in, and I think we're fairly comfortable now with that. Yeah. So as you alluded to, Burnley do like to let in a goal. They've let in 17 in 9 games, so sort of just about averaging 2 a game. They've scored 12 goals. They're in 16th place on 10 points. Yeah, they've had a couple of big defeats. They lost 3-0 at home to Burnley on the opening day lost 3-0 to Tottenham on the opening day of the season, lost 5-1 to City, and so on. But they seem to have done well against potentially, I was going to say relegation teams that they would be, because they beat Sunderland 2-0, but look at Sunderland now. So yeah, but they beat Leeds United and they beat Wolves, and in fact, again, they've had three wins and 5 losses, but they have had back-to-back wins against Leeds, against Wolves. I think Wolves, it was like a dramatic, is it 95th minute winner? I think they were 2-0 up and they came to 2-2, and then they won that game. So yeah, they play a 4-2-3-1. Yeah, so look, you expect them to play a low block, play long, try and win second balls. They're going to be tenacious. The crowd's going to be up for it. It's one of those, soft Southerners, and you fancy Dans, and they don't like it up and type. Maybe this is all a bit old stereotypical. I don't know if this is the way Parker plays, but this is the crowd that the cheating Southerners and stuff like that. So you just know what the crowd is going to be like. So if we can shut down the crowd, shut down them, then yeah, there shouldn't be any dramas. And look, in FotMob, their top rated player is their goalkeeper, and he's letting 17 goals. so like so yeah. So look, it could potentially cause us trouble. It is away. If it's a cold, miserable day, grim up north type thing, then I think we're better than that. I don't think that sort of stuff impacts us. But yeah, and as I was saying before, nothing stupid. They're buzzing, but also we've only been beaten once by Burnley in the Premier League, and that was in 2020. And I think, wasn't that the own goal by, I've forgotten his name, centre forward, signing from Dortmund.
It was, I've also forgotten. Form from us for not.
I can't believe I can picture in my head, and the people are going, it's
Aubameyang, of course.
Aubameyang, yeah. There you go. Aubameyang. So yeah, I think that was one Saka might even got sent off. Yeah. But we haven't lost at Turf Moor since 1973, and the win probability stats say 74% chance of winning, with Burnley only an 8.9% chance. So with that in mind, how do you reckon the game's going to go, and what are your predictions?
I think that will be too much for Burnley. Yeah, I mean, I know that they have a better form at home, but I think we're just in a much better place than them as a club. And I think the big thing, possibly, which could be it would definitely be in our favor, the fact that Gyökeres had an opportunity to rest. So maybe he'll be hungrier, because he's generally usually quite hungry. And in terms of goals, I think we'll beat them 4-0.
Okay.
That's where my mind is at.
Wow, 4-0. Okay, that's a confident stat for. I'm just putting that down here, 4-0. Yeah, you're right about their home form. Yeah, there is a stark contrast. So they played 4 at home. They won 2, drew 1, lost 1, 4-5, and against 2, and away they've only won 1 and lost 4, and yeah, they let in 15 away. So yeah. So again, and they gave Liverpool a game. But we're better than Liverpool. Liverpool relying on a last minute dodgy to win it. First goal is really important. And considering we don't concede, that's going to be us. 2-0. I think maybe I'm just going to go for safe 2-0. It feels like that's who we are at the moment. And it should be a win, another clean sheet, and we move on, and hopefully, the likes of Villa do us a favour. I don't know who City are playing, and actually, should we be looking out for Sunderland and Bournemouth? Who are they playing?
I mean, we should. Let's respect all our competitors, right?
There we go. So cool. Okay, so we should be staying top of the league, and all's hunky dory as we then take on Prague midweek. But let's focus on this. So Kuziva, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you. It's always good chatting. Always good just, speaking about our Aura Vibe Club.
Indeed it is. And so look, you can find us, follow us on the usual podcast apps. Well, if you're listening to this, you know that. But in terms of the socials, we're on Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Insta, and all the rest of it at The Grove AFC. The next show will be post Burnley, pre Slavia Prague, and there we go. And as I said, if you've got some spare few seconds just to leave us a rating on the podcast apps, that's really appreciated, and it goes a long way. So thank you for those that done that already, and thank you in advance for those who are going to do it. You want to, and there we go. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And apologies if any of the technical mishaps that we've had along the way have come through, but hopefully not. Just have to do some editing to get that out. And as always, until the next time, come on you Gunners.